Hadith number 39. الحديث التاسع والأربعون. الحديث التاسع والثلاثون. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إن الله تجاوز لي عن أمتي الخطأ والنسيان وما استكرهوا عليه. حديث حسن رواه ابن ماجه والبيهقي وغيرهما. This hadith was narrated by Abdullah ibn Abbas رضي الله عنه, and the main principle and the main qa'idah in this hadith is those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala overlooks. Those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala overlooks. What does that mean, overlooks? Overlooking is different than forgiving. Because forgiving involves a person doing something that is sinful, where they get a sin and they ask Allah for forgiveness. But these things are, if somebody does it, they're not sinful for doing it, rather Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala overlooks it. Okay? Inna Allah tajawaza li an ummati, that these three things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has pardoned. Number one, al-khata, mistakes, unintentional mistakes. If a person makes a mistake unintentionally, then the person is not sinful for it. Okay? They might, depending on the act or depending on the situation, they might have to redo the act again or do an action as a result to compensate for their mistake, but they're not sinful for the mistake. Right? And Allah in the Quran, as we see in the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَاخِذْنَا إِن نَسِينَا أَوْ أَخْطَأْنَا. Oh Allah, don't hold us accountable if we forget or if we make a mistake. So number one, the things that are pardoned, right? And the hadith mentions regarding the explanation of that ayah, that Allah said, I have accepted it. So number one, the mistake. Number two, an-nisyan, forgetfulness. If somebody does something out of forgetfulness, they're not held accountable. If somebody's fasting in the month of Ramadan and they eat and they forgot that they're fasting, are they sinful? No, they're not sinful. Rather, they continue their fast. Why? Inna Allah tajawaz an ummati al-khata'a wan-nisyan. And this applies to other things as well. Okay? So forgetfulness. And number three, what the person is forced to do. Right? وَمَا اسْتُكْرِهُ عَلَيْهِ. What a person is coerced and forced to do, they're not sinful for it. Right? We see in the story of Ammar ibn Yasir, for example, radiallahu anhu, where when he was being tortured by the kuffar of Quraysh, they forced him to say something of kufr. Right? To insult the Prophet ﷺ and to reject the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He spoke badly against the Prophet ﷺ. But because of the fact that he was forced to do so, he was not held accountable for it. Right? إِلَّا مَنْ أُكْرِهَ وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ. Allah says the exception for the person that's not held accountable is, or not sinful is, the person who is coerced and forced to do something, but they have iman. Okay? So those things are pardoned and they are overlooked.